Hey there, welcome to Old Man Runner. In today's video, I'm going to compare this, the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus, to this, the Altra Vanish Carbon. First, I'm going to go through some tests and running at various distances. Then I'm going to review the data. Finally, I'm going to see which of these two I choose to run a marathon in. I'm making this video because I'm running the Berlin Marathon in September 2022 and I'm trying to pick between four contenders: the Nike Alphafly 2, the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3, the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus, and the Altra Vanish Carbon. And in this particular video, I made two videos before, but in this particular one, I'm picking the winners of the previous two videos, and I'm having a shoe off between the Altra Vanish Carbon and the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus. As always, there'll be chapter markers down below if you want to skip on to the end of the bits that you're particularly interested in. I made individual videos of each of these shoes, and I'll put the links down in the description below, and I'll also put links to the previous two shoe off videos at the end of this video. I take all the data on a Garmin Forerunner 955 Solar and also the HRM Pro chest strap, and so the details, I put all my runs on the Garmin Connect if you wanted to connect in there to see them in more detail. But I'll put some details in this video, and as always, it's great if you analyze it yourself and we can comment, and you might come up with a completely different reason for picking different shoes than I do. Berlin is a notoriously fast and flat marathon. My previous personal best set early in the year is 3 hours 53 and 8 seconds, and that would, if I ran at that time, it'd be about 5:31 a kilometer or about 8:53 a mile. I'm targeting a little bit less than that. 5:30 is per kilometer is what I'm sort of loosely targeting. Garmin says, the watch tells me I'll run it in 3 hours, 41 minutes and 16 seconds, which would be a considerable improvement. And as time goes on, the watch says I'm going to do it in less and less time. So no pressure there then. In all these videos, I've been doing 4 different tests: 1 kilometer time trial gut busters, 5 kilometer threshold runs, a park run 5K race, and an easy long day. And for this particular video, I got some new data sets. I'll go in the reverse order I did the previous videos. The long runs, I did a couple of different 2 hour plus runs in each of these shoes. They both felt really good. The Altra is really good when I'm tired. It manages to keep a good pace. The Metaspeed Sky Plus, I deliberately tired myself out on Sunday and went for a run to see, and in the long run, see how they'd be, and they were fine. So nothing really to separate these two shoes in the long run. I did my local park run 5K in each of these. I did them a month apart. I was testing a lot of different shoes, and they all arrive at different times. They have identical times, 22 minutes and 16 seconds. It's about 20 seconds off my personal best on the park run, but I wouldn't read too much into the park run. I'm always testing my racecraft, and I really just wanted in each of these to see what it was like to go out and try and run a particular race in each of these shoes. And again, it was fine and nothing much to separate them. I did threshold 5K runs after the gut busters. Garmin says the pace, my threshold pace, is 5 minutes 27 at 100 per kilometer at 164 beats per minute. I think that's a bit slow on the 5K pace. I actually went out trying to run the thresholds about 90%, about hard but sustainable for 5 kilometers in each shoe, and I came back at nearly identical times: 24 minutes 41 in the Sky Plus and 24 minutes 45 in the Vanish Carbon. Just less than 5 minutes per kilometer, or less than 8 minutes per mile. And the heart rate was pretty accurate compared to the Garmin. It was 168 in one of them and 166 in the other. I'll put the date up here. But both enjoyable, pushing on, nice shoes to run in. I did 1 kilometer gut buster time trials on Saturday and Sunday to try and get to where my condition is as close as possible and to get a fresh data set. I didn't rely on the previous ones, so I went out, as I always do. I do an easy lap first in a Clifton 7s, and then I go hard in shoe A followed by shoe B, and then on Sunday I warm up again with the Clifton 7, and then I go hard in the opposite. I go B and then A, and I've done 46 of these runs. Sunday was significantly quicker. I went in 3 minutes 49 seconds in the Sky Plus. In most of these runs lately, I've only been doing around 4 minutes, so my personal best is 3:48 in a Sky, and also matched in a Alphafly. So I was quite happy to go out at 3:49 in the A run. I didn't leave much on the table. And then I went out in the B run in the Vanish Carbon, and I was pretty tired, but I ran 3:53, and that's the second fastest B run I've done. So really good, fast shoes. Very happy with both the overall level and the results from each of these shoes, which The Sky Plus shaded it mildly. I tried to avoid making all these comparison videos the same, and so I've drilled into different data sets. In this particular one, I was looking at the stamina percentage on the Garmin Connect app. And I went out for my Super Sunday 6 runs, 1 kilometer easy, then 1 kilometer hard in shoe A, 1 kilometer hard in shoe B, then 5 kilometer threshold in A and 5 kilometer threshold in B, and then 11 kilometers easy. And then it was interesting to see the stamina results. I'll put all the data up here, but I had a sip of water between each run and then change shoes were required. But essentially the first run I went out, I started at 99% stamina and went out for 1 kilometer easy in the Clifton 7, and I got down to 93% stamina. So not a big loss there, 6%. And then I went out hard in the Sky Plus on the A run, and I went 94 down to 76 in terms of stamina. And then I went out hard in the B run in the Vanish Carbon 1 kilometer, and I went from 73% down to 54%. Then I went out in the Vanish Carbons for threshold A, I went from 53 down to 21. Then I went out in the threshold B, I went out in the Sky Plus, and I went from 22 down to 1. So not a lot left in the tank there, pretty much drained it. And then I went out for an 11 kilometer easy run that I stopped a couple of times to take photos. It was a beautiful day, but also it was nice to just stop and after all this from here to end. But I started with 1% stamina and I ended up with, well, 1% stamina. So I pretty much drained it on the Sunday. So which of these shoes would I run in and why? Well, again, it was a difficult choice, but I would happily run a marathon in either of these. They both cost the same here, €250. The Sky Plus is a little bit lighter. The big difference between these shoes, and I guess the Altras and all sorts of other shoes, is the Altra has a 33mm stack and a 0mm drop, and the Sky Plus has 39mm of stack and a 5mm drop. So they're both probably about the same at the forefoot, but very different at the back, and that will have a major influence on many people who'll be choosing between these shoes. In terms of performance testing, well, it was almost identical. The long runs felt good, the thresholds felt good and equal, the park run were equal, and the gut busters, the Sky Plus had the very slightest of edge. It was fastest on the 2 runs, but by a small amount. So very little in terms of performance to choose between these shoes for me. I found the decision to make between these 2 shoes harder than I would have thought. I think in the Altra Vanish Carbon, I may be able to hold my pace a lot longer as I run in the marathon. I always go out too fast, but I think I might be able to finish faster in the Sky Plus. And I watched the end of the men's and women's marathons in the European Championships. Both were run by people wearing Metaspeeds, and you can clearly pick them out. The colorway is fantastic for picking out in a marathon, and the speed that the winner in the men's closed in at the end is something else. I'll try and pop a link in the description below, but it was it was deeply impressive and probably fed into some decision making here. I started these shoe offs with 4 shoes, all of which I'd happily run a marathon in if only you just had the time and the energy. The first one down was the Nike Alphafly 2. Great shoe, a little bit on the heavy side for me and too much going on down here that I can't really take advantage of in the longer runs. The Endorphin Pro 3 was next down by Saucony. Great shoe, I found it very fast. Wavers a little bit in the forefoot, and I thought in the longer run that might get to me. If I was running a marathon where I wasn't particularly interested in setting a personal best, but that was a nice course to run in that I really want to enjoy and just run really well, well, I'd pick this, the Altra Vanish Carbon. I think it's a really super shoe, one I've enjoyed running in immensely. But it's Berlin. The watch is telling me I'm going to go quicker than I previously went. It's a notoriously fast course. Lots of people set personal bests. And yeah, I was a bit swayed watching that German dude cross the line in Munich in the men's marathon. So yeah, I'm going to gamble that I might have a bit of speed. So I won't, but I'll gamble on it. So I'm going to pick the Asics Metaspeed Sky Plus, another super shoe from Asics. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, it'd be great if you hit the like button. There'll be lots of stuff down in the links below, and I'll happily answer any questions that you put into the comments. There'll be a big blue subscribe button popping up there. Some great videos there. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, just keep running along.